a lot of royal stories now, and according to today's papers, Prince Harry has completed his long-awaited autobiography. The final manuscript is said to have been already signed off by lawyers. I wrote an autobiography once. It went from being that size to that after the lawyers looked at it. But anyway.
Oh, God. Oh, my goodness. Well, the one book everyone is talking about, well, it might have been the first version of your autobiography, Eamon, is Tom Bower's. It's called Revenge, Meghan, Harry and the War Between the Windsors. We can speak to the man himself, the author, this morning. Good morning to you, Tom.
Good morning.
Tom, always great to talk to you. You're meticulous, you're forensic about your research. When you say it's a war between the Windsors, how toxic is this war? How bad is it?
Well, after the Oprah Winfrey interview, it clearly was very toxic. And I think that both sides would try to some extent lower the temperature. But the underlining anger between both sides can't be removed. And of course, the news today that Harry's memoir is going to be published in the near future will just alarm the royal family here in England about what he's actually going to say to earn his money.
Are perfect. We all have our little nuances and weaknesses and whatever. What sort of pairing was it when Harry got together with Meghan? Did they exacerbate each other's weaknesses or did they strengthen each other?
Well, I think they're both very needy people. But the point is, I think that Meghan was on a manhunt. She was looking for a husband and an English husband. And Harry was available. And she carefully researched all his strengths and, more importantly, his weaknesses. And when that moment came when she first met him, she could easily, because she's an extraordinarily good performer in those circumstances, she's an actress after all, she could reassure him that she was the one he was looking for. And he was desperately looking for somebody. He confessed he was a lonely man. He confessed he couldn't find anyone suitable. He'd gone through some very unhappy relationships. And Meghan fitted the bill. She provided everything he needed. She was good looking. She was good company. She could talk the way he wanted to talk about his subjects like Africa and things like that. And they both needed each other. And I think to that extent, for Harry, it was a wonderful gift, a match made in heaven, and also for Meghan, because that was the sort of person she was looking for, famous and rich.
Once celebrated as the royal family's most glamorous couple, Harry and Meghan have now become lightning rods for criticism. And no one pulls back the curtain more ruthlessly than Tom Bower, the man behind Revenge, Meghan, Harry and the War Between the Windsors. In his explosive sit-down with GB News, Bower makes one thing clear. The Sussexes are not misunderstood victims. They are the architects of chaos. Let's start with the man at the center of this firestorm. Tom Bower is not your average royal commentator. He's built his career writing brutal forensic biographies of some of the world's most powerful figures. Known for his no-holds-barred approach, he is feared because he doesn't write puff pieces. He writes exposes. His book Revenge was a direct hit on Harry and Meghan's public image, dissecting their decisions, their narratives, and their relationship with the royal family. When Bower speaks, people listen, not because he flatters but because he cuts deep. And in this latest interview, he doesn't just criticize. He accuses. He calls Meghan and Harry imposters, manipulators, a couple who put self-promotion above duty and personal gain above family. Bower argues Meghan and Harry are not passive victims of a cruel press or cold palace walls. Instead, he paints them as the architects of division, orchestrating a calculated campaign against the monarchy. From the Oprah Winfrey interview to their Netflix docuseries, Bower insists every move was carefully staged to maximize damage to the Windsors while maximizing publicity for the Sussexes. Every grievance aired, every accusation launched widened the rift not just between Harry and his family, but between the monarchy and the public who once adored them. This isn't accidental, Bower argues. It's deliberate. It's not about telling the truth. It's about shaping a narrative that puts Harry and Meghan at the center of sympathy while painting the royals as villains. And in doing so, they've made enemies not just inside the palace walls but across the globe. This isn't just a family feud anymore. Bower calls it what it has become, a war. The war between the Windsors. On one side, King Charles and Prince William, representing tradition, continuity, and a monarchy that has weathered centuries of storms. On the other, Harry and Meghan, celebrities turned critics, thriving on disruption and grievance. Bauer says this war isn't about reconciling differences. It's about two competing versions of truth, and only one can win.
Do they both still need each other to the same extent now?
Well, I think they do. I mean, I can't see, I know many people can't believe the relationship will continue, but I think Harry seems to be pretty happy in America. He likes paddling in the Pacific. He likes the sunshine. He likes being free from Kensington Palace and the control of Buckingham Palace. And I don't see how Meghan can, at the moment, do better, because she's still got her royal title. She's still got the label, which earns her money. So I think at the moment it's working out okay. I mean, the horror of the whole thing is that they capitalize and finance their well-being by trashing the royal family, which is the source of their status and income. But I think much depends now on what happens in Harry's memoir. What will he say to earn his money? That is the big question.
Next thing, we've just mentioned there, the autobiography seems to have been signed up. How explosive do you expect that to be? I mean, at the very least, it must create embarrassing situations whereby Harry and Meghan then can no longer mix with other members of the royal family because what may or may not be said.
Well, despite the awful things they said in the Oprah Winfrey interview, they still did mix with the royal family, both in St. Paul's, and they met the Queen and Prince Charles on their recent visit. So I don't think the horror of what they say seems to be a bar on them meeting the royal family, because the family on the whole doesn't want to create a bigger divide than there is at the moment. They prefer, obviously, to link up and end this feud. But I don't see how Harry can earn his living in this book, earn his advance, without saying even more damning things than he said already. And we've got to remind ourselves that both in his Apple TV series, the Oprah interview, and even in the NBC interview in the Invictus Games, he refused to say that he missed his father and brother. He pointedly attacked the royal family for not protecting the Queen. And now he's going to have to raise his game to make his book saleable. And that's what we'll wait to see, what he's going to say.
Talking about damning things, a lot of people waited to see what you were going to say, and some of it you may look at it and you think is harmless, you think if it's funny, you think they're just good stories and whatever. However, Meghan and Harry have an army of keyboard warriors who tend to support them. It takes them a week or so before they get up to date with what you say or I say or Rosie says or whatever it is. But sure as heck, they spring in to action. Do you think she's aware of the keyboard warriors who defend her and who are now attacking me as I speak, and you for writing that book?
Well, I don't do social media, so I don't have the pleasure of reading their vitriol. Of course she knows. I mean, Meghan is a person who controls the narrative. That has been part of the problem when she came to London to become part of the royal family. She couldn't understand why she wasn't more important and wasn't in control of everything. And that's why, of course, she has fractious relationships with so many people. So I'm convinced she has a very talented staff. They're hardworking. They know how important brand Markle is, and they will be keeping in touch with what's being said. They won't like everything that's being said, because however much people may attack me or my book, there are many people, I'm told, who love the book, and the sale of the book is now #1 bestseller. So that can't be of much pleasure to Meghan. So I think she is very much in control of what is being said, and she is utterly passionate about her image. I mean, that is everything that matters. She's a creature of Hollywood. She knows that celebrity images is what earns the money, and that's what she must protect.
And let's be honest, wars leave scars. The chances of William forgiving Harry after years of public betrayals? According to Bauer, slim to none. Bauer doesn't stop at Harry. In his view, Meghan is the mastermind, the strategist, the one pulling the strings. He claims that Harry, once known for his loyalty and humor, has become an echo of Meghan's ambition. Think about it. The PR rollouts, the branding, the carefully timed interviews. Bauer suggests it's Meghan's voice driving the Sussex agenda, while Harry nods along, complicit in silence. For critics, this reinforces the idea that Harry abandoned his royal duty not out of principle, but out of influence. And whether you agree or not, you can't deny one thing. Meghan has shaped Harry's public identity more than any royal protocol ever did.
What also earns the money is this sort of rancour. And, you've talked about some of the family's desire for reconciliation. Do you not think that maybe the media, someone like yourself, are actually motivated for the sort of revenge part of this storyline to be the one that gains traction?
No, I don't think that's fair, frankly, because I wouldn't have written this book if she hadn't appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show. I thought that was just so disgraceful, what she said, what Harry said, and I'm a monarchist, and I just don't think she should have been allowed to say those things unchallenged by Oprah Winfrey. It was scandalous. So I embarked on this book to actually understand what sort of person actually launches that sort of unfair, untrue attack on the royal family. And that's very much my motive. I tried to find out the truth. And it was only by finding so many different aspects of her life which were not in the public domain that I could actually come to the conclusion that I did, and I'm told it's a good read, and not only is it a good read, it's an authoritative read. It tells the truth about Meghan. And I think that's very important. We know the background and the motivation of a woman who clearly married into the royal family because she loved Harry. Don't doubt that, but also because she liked the status. But in the end, very quickly, she discovered that she wasn't get the status of number one, which is what she wanted. There is only one number one in the royal family, and the rest of the family is there to support the Queen. And Meghan didn't understand why she wasn't in the spotlight, and very quickly decided she'd be better off in Hollywood.
Does she see herself akin to Harry's mother, Princess Diana, in any ways? Does she see parallels there? Does he see parallels there?
Well, I think that's what's one of the many interesting things in the book, that especially during the tour of Australia, but even before, when Harry first met Meghan, he was convinced she had the magic of Diana. He was convinced that his mother's mantle had fallen on Meghan and that she was being treated in the same way by the media, and later was being applauded in Australia by the crowds, which she certainly attracted. And it was a greatly successful tour, ostensibly on the outside, because she had the magic of Diana. But the trouble with Harry is that he was very young when his mother died, and he never really understood this very complicated, complex woman and her role in Britain, her role in the royal family, and why in the end she found herself in the south of France with Mohammed Fayed and then died in that awful accident. I mean, unlike William, he didn't go around talking to Diana's friends and family to understand the complexities of his mother. She wasn't.
Tom Bauer's words land like thunder. Harry and Meghan are not the victims they portray, but the instigators of a royal war that has fractured one of the world's most famous families. Are they imposters as he claims? Or are they misunderstood reformers, caught in the crossfire of an ancient institution that resists change? What we do know is this: the war between the Windsors is real, and it's being fought not just in palaces and private conversations, but in interviews, documentaries, and headlines. And if Tom Bauer is right, this war is far from over. Question to you: do you think Bauer is exposing the truth, or is he pushing his own version of events? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more no-spin royal analysis.